A ceasefire deal between Israel and Lebanon to end the fighting with Hezbollah is now in effect. Now, these are live images of southern Beirut, where we are now watching and waiting to see if it holds. Now, the deal was brokered by the United States, with Joe Biden confirming the terms in a speech at the White House.
The fighting across the Lebanese-Israeli border will end. Will end.
Russian media say Moscow has expelled a British diplomat on grounds of espionage and acts of sabotage. The diplomat had replaced one of 6 others who were expelled in August, also for alleged spying. Meanwhile, in Brussels, leaders of the NATO military alliance in Ukraine have been holding emergency talks on Tuesday after Russia attacked a central city in Ukraine with an experimental ballistic missile last week. Tensions have been high since the U.S. gave Ukraine permission to use American long-range missiles against targets inside Russia, known as ATACMS. It comes as Moscow admitted that a Ukrainian strike using those missiles hit one of Russia's key air defense systems and an airbase in the Kursk region. The rare acknowledgement from Moscow follows its largest ever drone attack on Ukraine. Kyiv says a record 188 drones were launched overnight, damaging buildings and critical infrastructure in several regions.
Police in Laos detained 8 people suspected of facilitating a mass poisoning there after 6 tourists were killed and 8 others hospitalized. Among those detained are employees and management staff from a backpacker hostel in the town of Vang Vieng, who allegedly offered free shots to guests containing methanol. The Financial Times is reporting that China has put its defense minister under investigation, citing current and former U.S. officials familiar with the situation. The paper reports that Admiral Dong Jun is being investigated as part of a larger probe into graft in the Chinese army. It would make him the 3rd serving or former defense minister to be investigated for alleged corruption. Some other stories making news in the UK. The government has published its Get Britain Working white paper, outlining measures aimed at getting more people to work and reducing the benefits bill. The overhaul includes guaranteed access to work or training for every 18 to 21-year-old. Critics say the announcement lacks details. A woman who kept her baby daughter hidden in a drawer for the first time for the first 3 years of her life has been jailed for extreme neglect. The girl, who prosecutors said had never known daylight or fresh air, was only discovered when a visitor to the house in Cheshire heard her crying. The girl's mother had previously admitted to 4 charges of child cruelty. And MPs are preparing to vote on Friday on the assisted dying bill, which would allow some terminally ill people in England and Wales the right to die at a time of their choosing. They must have the mental capacity to make the choice and would only be able to seek help to die if 2 doctors agree and if a High Court judge approves.
Restrictions on online betting and a tax on casino profits is part of government plans to tackle addiction to gambling.
Sales targets on electric vehicles could be eased as car manufacturers warn that the move from petrol and diesel is happening too quickly.
Good morning. The social media scams targeting younger people with increasingly clever tricks. We hear from a 22-year-old who lost thousands of pounds.
Let's have a look at the front pages of today's newspapers. Guardian, first of all, they say President Biden hails historic ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. The paper includes an image of smoke that you can see there above Beirut's southern suburbs following airstrikes yesterday, which it calls some of the heaviest to date on the city.
The Times goes with a health story reporting that millions of NHS patients are going to be offered alternative asthma medication after it was revealed that the gas used in one blue inhaler has a bigger carbon footprint than a 75-mile car journey. Instead, patients are going to be offered a dry powder inhaler instead.
And the Daily Mail reports that ministers have requested an urgent review of the government's net zero electric car policy and are likely to water down sales targets after they were blamed for the decision to close a Vauxhall factory in Luton next year.
And some of the papers reporting on what they call porch pirates as well.
Oh.
These people who nick packages and parcels from your front doorstep when they've been left by the deliveries. Apparently millions of pounds worth, £376 million worth of stuff has been stolen just in the last year.
People are ordering for like Christmas and Black Friday and all of that, so be careful.
We're being urged to take care, absolutely.
Today at 6, the man who ran the hospital where Lucy Letby murdered 7 babies speaks publicly for the first time about his role. Tony Chambers told the public inquiry he'd used clumsy language after saying to the nurse, "Don't worry, we've got your back." Our other main story tonight, thousands of displaced people head home as a ceasefire begins in Lebanon. Many may have little to return to after more than a year of war. Here, supermarket loyalty cards. A review finds they do bring genuine savings, but we should still shop around.
How many loyalty cards do you have?
Oh wow, 1.
Probably about 6.
That's a lot.
Don't use them all though.
Formby has been rocked by a crime wave that has the police baffled and local residents aghast.
And a confession to a crime spree 50 years on.
And the man in charge of the Counties of Chester Hospital, where Lucy Letby murdered 7 babies, has faced the inquiry. Tony Chambers said he was truly sorry for the pain that may have been prolonged by his decision-making. Dame Esther Rantzen, who's terminally ill, has urged MPs to attend Friday's vote on assisted dying. According to analysis from ITV News, the vote is too close to call. There are still a number of undecided MPs. Now, a man is being questioned by police tonight on suspicion of filming intrusive videos of women while they were on nights out. Videos available through an online paywall were discovered as officers examined reports of women being followed and filmed in Manchester following an ITV News investigation.